Hi, I'm Lee. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm a short, overweight, middle-aged white dude. I've got thinning brown hair, black glasses, I'm wearing a grey t-shirt. I'm sitting in my office with a few coloured lights behind me, and in this video, we're going to have a look at some lights. I will illuminate you. So a few months ago, bought a couple of these Zhiyun Molus lights. And the reason why, let me take you through a little bit of background. A lot of what my company shoots is case studies, testimonials, corporate interviews. So a lot of talking head stuff. So we use your typical, 3-point lighting setup. You've got your key light over there, you've got your fill light over here, you've got a hair light behind you. And for traveling, I'm always looking for options of ways to get my lights as small as possible, yet as powerful as possible. And this is a 100-watt COB light that is battery operated. Now, often we won't need to use the battery because we can plug in, and you'll see here with the pack that I got for it, it comes with all these bits. So you've got the power pack in there, you've got, my brain blanks on what these is called, let me know in the comments. I'm blanking on what that's called, but anyway, so that. The thing that amazes me is the power of these lights. So let me just plug in the battery and give you an idea of just how grunty this light is. Now, when you get it, it comes covered in all these yellow stickers that say basically like, don't point this at your eyes, don't touch, like it'll explode if you look at it wrong, basically. I mean, there's a lot of warning sort of stuff attached to it. Don't panic about that. So you've got two dials on it, fairly straightforward, and the one dial is to turn it, well, there's a button to turn it on. So we switch the button on, and you've got a display on the back here. And you can see this is at 5%. So this is the light at 5%. And if I dial that up all the way to 100, it's quite bright. Like seriously, like don't look at it. Like most of the time, I'll probably be using it at about 50%. It is also dual color. So you see here on this, here you can go from daylight to tungsten and sort of everywhere in between. So that's basically how the light works, and that's what the battery can use it with power. Fairly straightforward. I also got some attachments with it. So I got the little soft box that you can get for it. And it's kind of cool. Like you sort of push down on the ground, and it sort of clips in, and there's your little soft box. So you can attach your little soft box to it. The thing with this, it's not that useful for what I wanted to use it for. So when I'm shooting interviews, what I found, and here's the challenge with this light. First of all, I mean, look at the size of that. That is ridiculously small. The challenge that I found with it was that the quality of the light wasn't great. And what I mean by that is because it's such a small light, but it's so powerful, the light is quite harsh. And even when you put this tiny softbox on it, the nature of, because the softbox is tiny, it doesn't diffuse or spread the light enough to sort of soften it. So what I have actually been using this for, I thought I would use this as my key light and my fill lights, and then I just have a little, little whatever light, just as a hair light. It's not quite there with this diffuser. You do still need to bring a proper size softbox, and that is why I got it with the bone mount adapter. So you can actually attach this bone mount adapter to the light. He says confidently, there's a button here somewhere. Where do we do it? There we go. So you can attach this bone mount to the light. Unfortunately, this doesn't come with it, so you do have to get this extra. But then you can use full-size softboxes on this light, and that's where I've found it most useful. So I can actually attach it to a full-size softbox and use it in an interview situation. Now, 100 watts, even though it's hugely powerful, it's not going to fight daylight. So if you're fighting daylight, you need to bring a 300 watt, a 600 watt, what have you. But majority of the time, when we're in an office situation and there's just a window behind us, we can put some diffusion behind the, on the window, whenever, and this is going to be absolutely fantastic. The other thing to keep in mind, I'm just going to put a link over above my little web page. It does come with a power adapter, but the power adapter is a fair bit of, so there's the cable, there's the power adapter. One little bit of criticism I would have is this cable that attaches to the light and then goes down to the power adapter. I wish this was longer, because if you're putting the light higher up, and this is one of the real advantages of, because this light is so small and relatively light, you can put it higher up and you don't need big C-stands. You know, you could use just normal lighting stands, sort of lighter lighting stands with a sandbag on it instead of C-stands. And that is really the big selling point for me, or one of the big selling points for me of using this light, because I don't have to schlep C-stands when I get up on a plane. But I would prefer if this was a bit longer, so that way if I wanted to put the light higher up somewhere, I could put that higher up and I wouldn't have to duct tape this to the light stand. It would go further down and would reach to the ground. The other accessory I got for it, and this is a really useful accessory, is they've got a little lantern for it. Now obviously this is going to spread the light sort of all over the place, but because this is so thick, you can see there just how thick this lantern is, it is going to diffuse the light quite nicely. And I find that where I use this from time to time is when I'm shooting in a car. So again, this is the perfect sort of light if you're looking to shoot in a car and you don't want to fill the whole thing, but you want a really powerful light. Let me just get that off of there and show you how the lantern works. So we just find the spot, pop it in there, and yeah, so when you're shooting in a car, this is quite nice because it'll spread all over the place, and there you go. So much more diffused, not nearly, let me get that back to daylight. Still really bright. I mean, that's only 21%. If I bump that up all the way to 100, really, really bright, as you can see, but it is a little bit softer. And I'll just put, oh no, that's not going to work because my hand's completely blown out. Let me see if I can dial it down to 5 and just show you how it is a bit of a softer light. And you can't really see, but take my word for it, that is a much softer light than you were getting with that adapter or even the softbox. So if you are looking to soften this light, definitely look at the lantern. And you know what, where the little mini softbox that you can get with it, where this does come in handy, is it does come with a little egg crate attachment where you could put on the front, and that's good because this will soften it a little bit, but then the egg crate will also cut down the beam so you're not spreading the light everywhere. You can be more directional with where you're putting the light. But if you're looking at this light, I probably wouldn't, unless you specifically need that, don't bother with the softbox, but definitely bother with the lantern. Now I got 2 of these before I even knew whether they were going to work or not, because, you know, I'm a schmuck. And like I said, you do still need to take, or at least I think, you do still need to take a full-size softbox, or maybe you could take a rectangular softbox and attach this to that, and then it's going to spread the light nicely. But because this light is so much smaller than 100, I mean, 100 watt light would normally be about the size of this box. Well, cut down a bit, but you know what I mean. Like you've seen 100 watt lights. The fact that this is so tiny, and if you take the battery off and you're just using it with power, that's the size of the light. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. It does have a fan. I haven't found it to be particularly loud. So also, you know, if you're doing interviews and stuff like that, fan's not an issue. So that's good to know. The final thing that I should talk about, so we've talked about the light, yes, the power. I was going to put over the top of me, I'm going to put right now, this is the 100, well, I got a 200 watt GAN power adapter, and why I got that is because you can get really nice long USB-C cables and then just power this. So if you have a look down here on the bottom, it's got where the power is, there's also a little USB-C connector. Let me just turn that towards the light so you can see it. So there's, turn it that way. Yep. So there's a little USB-C over there. So you can actually use a GAN power adapter like you would for a laptop or something. You do need to make sure that it's at least 100 watts. And what I actually found with the one that I got just off Amazon was that the USB-C ports didn't seem to work particularly well to power the light at full power. But when I plugged a USB-A to USB-C cable into it, that seemed to work. So if you do get one of the GAN adapters, do a bit of experimenting. Not all the ports will be pushing out enough watts to power that 100 watt light at 100%. So yeah, so in summation, if you are looking for a really tiny but powerful light, be aware that this you will need to soften the light. You definitely will want to put a full-size softbox or something on it to soften that light. But if you're looking to use this, what I use quite often, I use this as a background light. So if I want to blow out the background, or if I'm fighting daylight and I want to brighten something up behind my subject, I think that's also a really good option for this light. So yeah, so the Zhiyun Molus, there you go, the Zhiyun Molus light. Well worth having a look at. Not the cheapest thing in the world, but for the money, I think it's totally worth it. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was useful. If you have liked this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.